This video is going to be a look at one of my favorite players to watch film of, create content about, or just talk about, and that's Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Lions have had a stellar offseason, particularly on the defensive side. They've followed up their best record in franchise history, dating all the way back to 1991, when Barry Sanders and the Lions made the NFC title game before losing to the Washington Redskins, the eventual Super Bowl champion Redskins. They followed up that regular season by addressing all the known weaknesses of the roster. I've covered it in video format. I'm sure other content creators and news organizations have as well. They've gone out and improved the corner situation. The defense overall, with signings, trades, or drafting young DBs, in the case of Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw Jr., to compete with some established veterans. Re-signed Penei Sewell, who's still only 23 years old, which is kind of unbelievable. I think they re-signed him up through 2030. I think their most important acquisition or re-signing, roster move, let's say it that way, is doing the one thing that no NFL defense has been able to figure out so far, and that's lock up Amon-Ra St. Brown. I've said it many times to solidify my opinion that I think he's one of the best 10 players in the NFL. Players, not wide receivers. He's as unique and versatile as any wide receiver that I get to lay eyes on because of all the things they ask him to do in Detroit and what he's able to execute at 6 foot, 200 pounds. I'll get back to that thought later in terms of where I place him in ranking wise, which I really don't even like to do rankings. I understand many fans disagree with placing him, even some Lions fans disagree with placing him in that tier. Most people would put quarterbacks in the top 10 players. I do not. I'm going to talk about his impact statistically for a moment. I don't really like to refer to those things. And then I'll get to a significant amount of film in this one. You may call this video a career anthology because that's what it's intended to be. First things first, St. Brown has 315 catches since entering the league out of USC in 2021. He put up 90 catches as a rookie. Now, that 315 over the 3-year period, 2021 through 2023, that's more catches than Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Michael Pittman. The interesting thing about St. Brown being he's fifth most catches in his first 3 years, is that his catch percentage, which is the number of receptions, total number of receptions divided by total number of targets, is better than everybody. It's 73%. 315 catches, 429 targets. We're talking regular season stats. That's since coming to Detroit as a 4th-round pick. The only guy in the top 30 who's even close is Cooper Kupp. Otherwise, most of the wide receivers, in fact, all of them ahead of St. Brown in total catches, are between 65 and 69% catch percentage. And the guys that are ahead of him in total catches since he's entered the NFL is Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, and Stephon Diggs. Tyreek Hill has 500 targets to get his 349 catches. Rightfully so. He should get the ball a lot. Devontae Adams, 524 targets in order to produce only 11 more catches than St. Brown on almost 100 more targets. Diggs has 3 more catches in the last 3 years on almost 50 more targets. My point in bringing all that up is to say, not only is St. Brown producing at an insane rate, he's very efficient while doing so. It's a guy who converts his catches, his targets, 73.4% of the time, to be precise. When he's throwing the ball in the NFL, he catches it. Along with that, none of the guys I mentioned there do what St. Brown does from a versatility standpoint as a blocker, or presents as multiple in terms of where they line up and where the route goes. I think the only guy with as much on, and then this third element, the only guy with as much on his plate in terms of being used as a blocker at the point of attack is Cooper Kupp. And I think even that has kind of disappeared somewhat in 2023 since they drafted Puka Nacua. The nature of the Rams offense under Sean McVay, with so many compressed formations and 11 personnel, the wide receivers are often asked to insert and go block a strong safety. or an inside linebacker. Stacking a little bit more on top of that data I gave you. Each of the top 5 guys, Hill, Adams, Lamb, and Diggs, has played 50 regular season games in the last 3 years. St. Brown is right in line with 49. Finally, for the statistical comparison for the nail here, only CeeDee Lamb has more rushing yards than St. Brown, who sits at 180 rushing yards on 20 attempts, 9 yards per carry. He's a complete football player. In my opinion, he is as unique as there is an athlete in the NFL. He'll turn 25 years old in 2024 if he keeps this pace up for another 6 years. So 2 more revolutions of 3-year periods with 315 plus catches. The same catch percentage, conversions on third down, the timely blocking. If he does all those things, he will finish with over 950 receptions. That'd be top 20 in NFL history. 65, 68 touchdown catches, something like that. Again, the 73% catch percentage. He's headed to the Hall of Fame if he does this 2 more times. 3 years, small sample size, I guess maybe it might sound crazy because he's only 24 years old. Injuries happen or guys choose to retire at a certain point. Lions fans certainly are aware of that, sometimes too soon. St. Brown statistically is on a Hall of Fame track. Let's get to some of the film finally. I had a lot to say about St. Brown and his production, the way he does things, because I think there's a lot that can be said. I don't usually spend an inordinate amount of time on stats, so forgive me for that. I'm certainly never going to reference PFF or anything arbitrary like that. Look, he produces at a historic rate, and he's incredibly efficient while doing so. Consider that point number 1. He's also produced in big moments since his rookie year. This is a game-winning touchdown catch against the Vikings in 2021, Week 13. Lions came in winless in his rookie year, 0-10-1 to be precise. It's a weirdly soft coverage by the Vikings. Cool thing about this from a St. Brown, Lions, and Goff perspective is Justin Jefferson had just caught the go-ahead touchdown with 1:50 left, and Goff moves him downfield, punctuates his first win as a Lions quarterback by going to his best weapon, St. Brown, who held on for a 29-23 win. St. Brown finished his rookie year with 90 catches, 5 touchdowns on a 75% catch percentage. And all he's done since then is really become the fulcrum of the Lions offense, along with Goff and Sewell. That trio was all acquired by Holmes during that offseason, and they represent the building blocks of the organization's ascendance, their improvement. Simply put, I think all 3 of them are needed to make it go. This video is about St. Brown. He's the only guy with the capability, determination, and skills to go where he does, particularly on third downs, and that's what I'm showing you here, to keep the drive going, whatever you want to call St. Brown. Well, you guys are Lions fans, so you recognize the value and you admire his production and the way he does things. He drives the offense, but so many people call him, run him to slot receiver, possession receiver, slow, low yards per target. It was 9.2 yards per target in 2023, but 12.7 yards per catch. I think top 40 in the NFL, somewhere around there. There's plenty of other wide receivers in that same range, but you're going to hear it. You know that. Especially after the big contract that he signed, mostly from other NFC North fans. He's too small to pay that kind of money to. He's too slow to pay that kind of money to. Here now, he's signed up through age 29 season. By the way, I think that's 2028. The cool thing about the contract for the production you're getting, his cap number in 2024 is $4 million. That's insane for the production that the Lions are going to receive. Again, these are all third down catches here, except for one. The bottom line is they're mostly tough, contested catches where St. Brown and Goff have to read the coverage and adjust during the play. And look, Goff will put the ball wherever, meaning here's one thing I've noticed about people who talk about receivers and quarterbacks. It's so easy to determine if someone's actually watched the film or not. Based on how they talk about certain receivers, meaning St. Brown's too small. He's got a small catch radius. Well, like, that's an immediate red flag for me, somebody who hasn't watched the film. Because Goff will throw the ball to a side, away from defenders, because he knows St. Brown will adjust to it. He'll go get it. I don't care about arm length, size, height. Watch the film. St. Brown goes and gets it, and that's regardless of who he's facing. For people who don't like the film, check out the stats. 73.4% catch percentage. The route versatility, the durability. He actually kind of reminds me of a fighter. I find myself making combat sports comparisons for NFL players that I really like. And in this case, St. Brown's one of my favorites. He's a guy who I think can take a great punch. He's there for 4 quarters. You will not finish him. He gets yards after the catch, and he makes contested catches. I think because of St. Brown, Goff's ability to make quick decisions is even heightened. He can see things quickly and process it, sure. He understands the coverage. He's been coached well, absolutely. But because of St. Brown's ability to go get the ball no matter where it's thrown, and this is an example, there's a safety oncoming here. The ball's already out. From our angle here, there's the football. It looks like this football's being thrown directly at the safety. Goff has so much confidence in St. Brown. This ball is thrown away to his back hip. I don't have the end zone angle of this one. It's one of the ones that also I think illustrates, look, people can't guard him in man. It's why Detroit sees so much zone or split field coverages, even on third down situations. He's great on screens where he sets up his blocks well. And there's just an ease with which St. Brown accomplishes things on the football field that almost looks wrong in the NFL. The third film element that I want to include here and try to highlight, I've actually spoken about this before across multiple videos, not just ones about St. Brown. He's an anomaly. He's an anomaly among the high-level elite wide receivers that produce a lot, even when teams know they're going to get a lot of targets. I think he got 164 last year. Here's what I mean. He can do everything well. And by everything, I mean line up in the backfield, the actual backfield, and run the football, not just jet sweeps. The split backs play that you saw first, Ben Johnson loves that one. He first used it in week 1 of 2022 against the Eagles. This one here is ridiculous. Short yardage situation. Week 1 against the Chiefs. 11 personnel. They put St. Brown in the backfield. Not just in the backfield, he's there at fullback. If you don't understand how much of an anomaly that is, think of it this way. He's 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. And Ben Johnson put him in the backfield at fullback and asked him to run the kick-out block on the edge defender. In this case, it would be Karlaftis or McDuffie, the corner who's rolled up against a 3rd and 1. Maybe it's a 4th and 1 midfield. It's a regular season opener. It shocked me that more people weren't talking about this after the game. I'm not saying that I'm so smart and I keep bringing it up, but a, quote, slot receiver, 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, asked to line up at fullback. And the fact that I didn't hear anyone else talk about it at all was kind of surprising. I'm sure that Detroit media did. I would assume so. He's a complete anomaly. 3rd and 5, 2022. This is a shovel trap against the Bears. He's got at least 2 more of these on film in his career already. It's not a handoff. It's a flip from Goff to convert, and it's beautiful usage of the flip because if you drop it, it's an incomplete pass. Lined up as a receiver, this is a 58-yard run on a jet sweep against Washington. This is early 2022 when the Lions were in the middle of their 1-6 start. He's also got significant usage as a blocker. I think I'm going to show you 4 plays here to illustrate it. It's not just about desire and expectation, meaning Ben Johnson expects him to go do it. He's really good at it. I can't think of a more versatile player in the NFL with high-level production like St. Brown, who is as committed to everything they ask him to do and more. And as a result, as you know, the way it is in life, at your job, wherever, if you're good at multiple things, they're going to ask you to do multiple things. Along with that, the extremely high levels of production and the highest efficiency among that receiver group to go along with it. I just don't see another Amon-Ra St. Brown on film from 2021 to 2023, the time period when I have generally been trying to produce NFL-related content, mostly Ravens, and then eventually Lions. I just haven't seen anyone else do what St. Brown does on a week-to-week basis. This last set of plays is shown to illustrate a number of points, some of which are, to be real, quite reactionary by me. I have seen or read and heard criticisms about St. Brown, and as a football purist or someone who thinks I am a football purist, it feels like it's a shame that we're so tribal at times as fans, meaning Bears fans can't recognize how great a Lions player is, or vice versa. St. Brown. Now, the funny thing is that about that example, St. Brown's actually had less impact against the Bears than really any other team he's faced in his career. Now, but that was just an example. This is multiple plays of St. Brown lined up at either outside wide receiver, where he is a lot. He's more than just a slot receiver. And then also, I think you've got a lot of catches where he's turning. Well, number one, he's being used as bait on this sequence of plays against the Broncos in Week 15. Forgive me, I rewound a little bit too quick. 2 consecutive plays. This one's a vertical, not exactly drawn to scale. It's a little bit deeper route there by Reynolds. Ends up in zone 4, zone 3, a place that Goff tends to target quite often. It's that slot seam that St. Brown ran that kind of clears out the defender, opens up that space for Reynolds to run onto. And then this is an incredibly slick touchdown. Great design by Ben Johnson where St. Brown's in the backfield, runs across the formation. You can see he almost kind of gears down to attract the defender, in my opinion, right there. It seems intentional to me. And then Laporta from the field side as well runs onto that vacated space up top. Makes the catch, makes a defender miss, jukes in for the touchdown. I think St. Brown has gravity. It reminds me of the really special NBA players who can draw double teams and make other players around them better. Finally, we have a set of plays of St. Brown against the Bucs in the division round. He was a thorn in their side. He is in everybody's side. He's tormented the whole league. 119 catches in 2023. Tied for second in the league. Also third in the NFL in receiving yards. He had this unbelievable conversion on 3rd and 15 against Zion McCollum. I'll try to rewind it to the correct spot here. Forgive me. Catches the ball short of the sticks here, 3rd and 15, to the boundary. You get the end zone angle as well. You can see he's going to bring this route back here to Goff. And then once he catches it, he's got the strength to turn and bring himself. This is Zion McCollum. He's a great athlete. Perfect throw from Goff. There's every kind of catch in here. The entirety of the video was meant to be a career anthology. But the problem is there's another 30 plays that I had cut up that could have been displayed. St. Brown is that good. The amazing thing that the Brad Holmes in the front office have done in terms of signing him long-term, price tag does grow after 2024, but there was some obvious planning done by the Lions. I don't have the exact numbers, to be honest with you, but between St. Brown and Sewell, who are 24 and 23 years old as it stands right now, there was definitely some design done to stagger their cap hits. I think St. Brown's cap hit after the $4 million hit in 24 is still only $13 million in 2025, when presumably, I guess the Lions will have to re-sign Goff. It balloons up to $30 million average for 2026 to 2028, the season when St. Brown would finally turn 30. I think there's a trio of void years added in. Acquiring talent is something the Lions are good at. Brad Holmes is really good at. And there have been some misses. Michael Brockers, the DN that the Ravens were going to sign, and then he went to the Lions in 2021, didn't work out. But look, trading for Goff, drafting St. Brown and Sewell in the same draft in 2021, and now re-signing the last two of those two guys to long-term deals, it's the way it's supposed to work. Acquire talent, either trades or drafts, and then identify the guys you want in the building, identify the guys that are leaders, that'll produce and do things the right way, that'll set an example, show up to work every day, and do their job and more, and then keep them for years to come. I firmly think that St. Brown is a guy who catches a Super Bowl winning touchdown pass. He's got that kind of knack and absolute lack of fear. I don't know if you guys enjoyed this video. Creating it and organizing it was about as fun a project as I've undertaken with this channel. I hope you enjoyed it. Whether you agree with my evaluations of St. Brown as one of the best players in the league or not, I tried to make it evidence-based, at least 3 points, maybe 4, to illustrate the high-level production combined with efficiency and versatility that I think is extremely rare. We can, regardless of your thoughts on where I rank St. Brown, and I really don't enjoy doing rankings at all, we can agree on this. Sewell, Goff, St. Brown, they're pushing the offense on a weekly, yearly basis. I believe they've already posted the second and third highest scoring outputs in Detroit Lions history. Some of those Barry Sanders teams, I think 94 and maybe 96, they were top 5 in scoring, so maybe points per game differential is different, but total overall points output, Lions last 2 years, second and third in their history. I think St. Brown has a chance to finish in some really elite company for his career in Detroit. So I'll mention a couple of names that might lose some of you, depending on your age. Barry Sanders and Isaiah Thomas, 2 spectacular little men, smaller guys who succeeded in a world of overgrown, larger human beings that are also athletic. Some of you guys might be too young to know who Isaiah Thomas is. Won 2 NBA Finals with the Detroit Pistons. Spectacular basketball player. Had to retire a little early because of an Achilles injury. Barry Sanders, 5'8", 200 pounds. Obviously retired too soon for those of us that are football fans or Lions fans. I think St. Brown has a chance to finish his career in that kind of company. 2 things happen. He continues this kind of production for at least 4 or 5 more years, maybe 6. And the Lions do reach their goal of bringing Detroit its first ever Super Bowl championship. They've won NFL titles before, I think 4 of them before the Super Bowl era. I would welcome your thoughts on the video as I presented it. If you think the re-signing of St. Brown and Sewell was as astute and smart as I believe it was, I really don't get into rankings of players, but I understand that part of the premise of this video is me trying to convince you he's one of the best players in the NFL, regardless of position. I really don't like the discourse of ranking players. I think it kind of dehumanizes young people who we should be crediting and giving a lot of kudos to for how they go out and do things in a professional way at the highest levels. As someone who watches a lot of film, mostly Ravens and Lions, obviously, I struggle to find many other guys, if any, in the NFL who have as diverse and widespread impact as St. Brown does on a weekly basis. And that's why I made these claims in the video and packaged the plays in the order I did. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this video, this film study / commentary look at St. Brown's career and the Lions front office's decision to sign him up long-term, re-sign him long-term, that is, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.